natural resources, Arek didn't say you that we now our ministry called not as only Ministry of Energy, but also Ministry of Energy and Natural Resources. And now our ministry responsible for natural resources, for development and for chemical industry. That's why now I use the possibility to speak about this area for providing information for possible strategic investors in this area. But I know this just now it's not the right place. So I think it's enough. And I am ready to answer on your questions.
When you say the government is ready to create favorable conditions for investments in renewable energy in Armenia, as you know, transportation costs are expensive to Armenia. So if you want to bring solar or windmills, it's going to be quite expensive. And on top of that, add the custom duties, custom taxes, which are very high in Armenia. It makes it almost twice the price that you can do something in America, for example. If you can do something here for $1, it'll cost approximately $2 to do in Armenia. So does creating favorable conditions in Armenia mean you're willing to abolish custom taxes for solar, wind, or anything that's favorable to create renewable energy in Armenia, or do you mean kickbacks and making silent partners as typically how it's done in Armenia? Can you be a little bit more clear on what you mean by favorable conditions?
Let me give you some figures in small hydro. I said you that 5 years ago our production through small hydro power plants was 120 million kilowatt hours. In 2008, we produced 300 million kilowatt hours, 2.5 times more. Because of we created for small hydro 15 years from the starting production electricity without any competitions. Distribution company must buy first of all electricity from the renewable, from the small hydro power plants.
That doesn't require anything in importing. I'm talking about importing the products for solar and wind. What kind of conditions do you make? Are you willing to create, such as abolishing custom taxes? Would that be one of the conditions?
I said that
custom taxes are very high. It doesn't make sense to take anything to Armenia.
What do you mean when you say that about taxes? Sorry. Yeah. What do you mean when you say that we have very high taxes?
Custom duties. Have you dealt with the customs agency in Armenia? Not only is bureaucratic, it's 20–30%. And on top of it, they don't calculate the price that you bought the product for. They charge they calculate higher prices, which they come up with their own figures. If you buy something here at a discount, take it to Armenia, they'll create their own figures and tax you a 20 or 30% tax on top of that.
I don't understand what you mean.
VAT, value-added taxes.
No, you haven't enough information. Our equipment.
I'll give you my experiences.
No, you haven't any experience. Through your questions, I can say that all of equipment for renewable energy, the investor doesn't pay VAT. The VAT paying after 3 years. You understand? You can transfer your equipment through the customs, and you will pay VAT after 3 years after when you install this equipment on the power plant.
There's a 20% tax on these products.
20%, yes, tax for.
You don't consider that VAT?
Yes.
20% is, well,
but
are you willing to about 20%?
This VAT reflected in the tariff margin.
So why not?
Maybe later on you guys can discuss this together, okay? Any other questions, please? Yes.
From where do you buy gas? Natural gas for your thermal power plant?
We have two routes for supplying gas. One northern route from the Russia through Georgia, and second one from Iran. Two routes. And we have excellent deal with Iranians. We constructed this gas pipeline mainly for this reason, for receiving gas from the Iran and selling them electricity. It's joint, very profitable deal for two countries.
Regarding the
Wait, one more.
does Armenia have enough raw material for the nuclear power plant, or Armenia is going to import the raw material?
You mean nuclear fuel?
That's right.
During 30 years, we imported nuclear fuel from the Russia, and we continue import it. And the same will be with new nuclear unit. The refueling process, it depends on two types of the technology, or once during 18 months or once during 24 months. It means according to the terminology, you can classify such a process of refueling that as a primary sources, it can be used, can be named as your own sources. Huh?
How many percent Armenia itself can produce nuclear raw material?
Nuclear raw material,
From the miner?
just now zero,
Zero.
but we started investigations process on southern part of Armenia, and we have very, very preliminary information that we have some volumes of the uranium. It's not big volumes, but these volumes will be enough for covering our internal needs.
10%? 10%?
For covering our internal needs. It means that if you have 1,000 megawatt capacity, for 1,000 megawatt capacity, for 1 year, we need around of 50, 60 tons. Slowly enriched fuel.
There's a question
Slight
here.
enrichment.
There's a question here in front.
How do you handle the nuclear waste?
You mean the spent fuel? We continue keeping on the site near our Metsamor power plant on the same site. We use the best technology around the world. It's American technology, but the license bought from the French company Areva, and they constructed so-called spent fuel dry storages, and we already constructed second stage of this storage, and I think the same technology can be used and for new nuclear unit. Or if something change with Russians, we can, as in previous years when we was as a member of Soviet Union, in that period we sent this spent fuel to the Russia, but we must pay for this.
What's the name of the company, the French company?
Areva. Areva, it's famous around the world, biggest company.
Excuse me, we have allocated about half an hour at the end for all the questions and answers. We have next speakers, they're lined up, so let's give a hand for our